Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. And today, boys and girls, we're going to begin our morning meeting with an overview of what you can expect for language arts and math. First of all, today is Monday, April 6th. And in language arts, you'll be taking a test of the first 6 chapters of the Laura Ingalls Wilder book. If you have not read those chapters, you might want to get caught up on your reading before you attempt to take that test. In math, you're going to be adding and subtracting of angles. If you remember in our formulas in math, we talk about how if we're given 2 clues, we can solve what the third one is. With 2 clues, the third one becomes easy. Remember, benchmark angles can help you as well with this. If you are asked to create a sum that is equal to a right angle, it's 90 degrees. If you are asked to create a sum or use the formula of 180 degrees for a straight angle, that could be a useful tool. And of course, remembering that a circle is 360 degrees is going to be very, very important as well. So knowing those 3 benchmarks and relating them to the clues that they have given you, you should be able to find the missing answer for today. Okay? Last week we focused in social studies on famous Americans, and I hope that you enjoyed the skits that we put together for you. This week we're going to focus on science. Okay? So when I was first started in college, science was not as structured as it is today. We had, the idea was that we should create a fun scientific experiment for kids so they could explore and answer a major question, why. So I'm going to go back in my archives and find some of the science projects that I used to do in earlier times and to share them with you today. Since science has already been covered with the 4th grade curriculum, it gives us an opportunity to explore above and beyond. Remember, in scientific inquiry, the main question is why. We want to strike your curiosity enough where you go do a little research and try to explain and figure out why things happen. And today I asked my daughter Emily to help me out, and she's going to take the camera and she's going to look down in the bowl. And what do you see? Yes, you see 3 paper clips. They're floating on top of the water. You may ask yourself how that can happen. Well, I'm about to share with you. What you need to understand is 2 words in this equation. One is cohesion, and the other one is surface tension. My intent is to teach you this project, allow you to practice, and once you get 3 to float, then of course I want you to go ahead and do a Google or do a little scientific research of your own and find what cohesion and surface tension has to do with this experiment. And then tomorrow then I will share with you my explanation of why this science project works. Okay? So to first of all begin, I'm going to take these, the ones that are floating, and I'm just going to take it out here. And all of our experiments this week will be centered around finding things around the house. We don't want you necessarily to go out and to buy things, but all you need is a simple bowl. The depth of the water does not matter. Smaller the bowl, probably the better. And a paper clip. And then, of course, a napkin in case the paper clip should get wet. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to grab my paper clip very lightly between my 2 fingers. And what I'm trying to do is not to cut the surface of the water. Okay, what I want this paper clip to do is to create a bond with the water so that it will actually float and not cut the surface. I go down slow and watch the water touch. You can clearly see it's a pretty easy opportunity. It will take some of you. If your paper clip falls to the bottom, just pick it up, dry it off, and begin again. Okay, so I have 1 paper clip. My project for you is I'm hoping that you will get 3 paper clips to float. Once you have those floating, then I'd like you to take a small amount of dish soap. All we need is a drop. And we're going to take the dish soap and we don't want to drop the dish soap on the paper clip, but we want to put it close, and it just needs the smallest amount. And you notice that the paper clip will repel from that tension. In fact, if you get pretty good at this, you take your finger, you can actually chase your paper clip around, and it will allow it to float and not touch your finger. Now you'll notice that once after a short amount of time, the paper clip sunk. Okay? That was because we added soap. What is it about the soap that caused the paper clip that once floated to become submerged? To take this experiment a little bit farther, now once you try this again in the soapy water, it will be next to impossible to get the paper clip to float. So once the soap was added, I cannot get the paper clip to float anymore. Can you explain to me why? Stay tuned tomorrow for the answers. I hope that you enjoy our science experiment today. And once you are done, I would like you to post on Seesaw and write for me a short explanation of why the paper clip was able to float, and then why you feel that the paper clip could not float once we added soap. Have a wonderful day. Take care.